You should have already had your ASA set up. I went over that last Tuesday, how to set up the files for that. If you need help with that, see me after class or come to my office hours. I'll show you how to set that up. But after I have my ASA configured under my preferences, I drag it and drop it into my workspace. Make my workspace here. Right. Okay. Here's what I did to make it work, and it worked for me. First off, I went back to what default port under preferences that I used, which was 2001. Turn the daggum thing on. Okay? Let it boot. Don't console into it yet. Get this Ethernet switch. Okay? I opened up a command prompt. All right? The IP config all more. And I looked for one of my VMnet host only, quote, host only networks. Okay? And I have two of them. Passed it. There it is. It's hard to see here. I can't make this window any bigger. But it's VMnet 2. Right? 10.0.0.5 is my IP address. That's the same IP address that I put on my network adapter through Windows networking. Okay? I have my default gateway set as 10.0.0.1. That's the same thing as in Lab 3. Okay? This is what I tried to do last time. What I did was I went in and I restarted that network interface card. Disabled it, and then enabled it. Okay? I grab a host. I drag a host over. I right click on it and hit configure. Okay? Where I have this generic Ethernet NIO, I drop that down and I select that VMnet 2 interface. I clicked add, but it didn't really do anything. I also did it for Linux, but it shouldn't have to make a difference, but I did do this. It did work. But that shouldn't make a difference. Then I connect everything up. Okay? So, I'm going to connect my host on VMnet 2. The switch. Put it on port 2. And we'll put the switch port 1 to Ethernet 1. Ethernet 1. Only because you usually make Ethernet 0 your outside interface. Now this is interesting. This is what I had pop up. I had this security alert. I did not get this last time. Well, last class. I did get it this time. All right. Allow dynamips.exe to communicate with these networks, public networks such as those in airports, yada yada yada. I clicked allow access. I click the stop button. Now I go into the console. Okay? It's already booted. It booted up normally. Okay? So I think the trick here was to drag the ASA over first, start it up first before you started connecting everything to it like I did last time. And then after it's booted up, make that your last connection. Make that your last connection. Right. From here, type enable. There is no password, just hit enter. Go into config T. It's going to ask you that you want to do this product thing. Say no. Okay. And I'm going to go into interface G1, which is that Ethernet 1. Okay. I'm going to name it, name inf inside, lowercase. I'm going to give it its IP address, 10.0.0.1, 24-bit subnet mask, and no shut. Now, the good thing about an ASA, you know how in a router you had to use the do preemptor to like go back to privileged exec mode to like do show run if you were in the interface or in global configuration mode or a routing protocol? You don't have to do that in the ASA. You just type show run no matter where you are and it comes up. All right, I see that, I can see gigabit E1. Now hopefully this is where it worked it did not work last time. And it worked for me this afternoon. I can ping 10.0.0.1. Oh, come on. Why do you hate me? No, I tested this out like several times. I did it 3 times at work today. I'm wondering if it's not something to do with rebooted. Yes. Changed everything at Code Wireless, but it didn't come up. Okay. Will you allow me? Hang on a second. One thing I did not check. VMware Network Adapter, VMnet 2. Okay. I have a second one down here that I created. That's the Linux one. That should not work. Maybe that's where I had it on Goofy. So let's do this. Delete, 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 delete everything but VMnet 2. And then try to connect it. Maybe I have too much now. One last thing. All else fails, turn all security off.
Don't do this at home, kids.
No, do it at home where you're safe. Serious, I did this like 5 times today. All right. Open project. So this is one I created earlier. We'll see if it's just ASA magic or something. I don't know. If that's the case, I will save this GNS 3 setup for you so you can initially have it. I'll post it on my FTP set. For you to grab. And I'll link it through Blackboard. So while we're waiting for this to boot up, I got caught up on grading today for this class, so everything should be through week 7 graded, homework-wise. I think I've graded about every lab 2 that I have, except maybe 1 or 2 of people who got it to me late. So your grades in Blackboard should be pretty precise. We have 3 weeks to go. We have 3 homework assignments, only 90 more points there. We have this lab if we can get it to work. And the final. So we're through 610 points total, roughly 610 points. You have 390 to go. There we go. It just takes its sweet time sometimes. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Uh-oh. Let me just see here real quick what I have as far as IP is concerned. Our interface is concerned. So Ethernet 0 is connected to switch 1, port 2. All right, good. So I need to change gig Ethernet 0's IP address to 10.0.0.1. Dotted. Interesting. All right. And you're still not going to work. All right, let's see what's wrong with you here. Connection 10. Interesting. Got it to work. All right. I will at least post this asalab.gns3 on my FTP site. Let me just take a look at something real quick. Okay, good. This will get you past what I was going to do with the TFTP of the ASDM. Because a lot of times when you buy an ASA, you don't have to worry about uploading this ASDM file. It'll come in the flash. So this will almost be like if you bought an ASA from Cisco or a retailer. So I'm going to put this on my FTP site for you to grab just with this configuration. Okay, so you can start from there. So, having that done, I know that the IP address of my ASA is 10.0.0.1. Everybody understand that? Right there. Okay? I have to have a couple other things done on this in order for it to work so that I can use the GUI. First off, I need to have the HTTP engine running. I need to have this ASDM command telling it where the ASDM file is. That's already done. The ASDM server is enabled. I have to change this command here real quick because this is the wrong network. Let me do that. Alright. And then I also have to have a username, which in this case I have a username of bbrown and a password. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and create a username of Cisco, lowercase, password, Cisco, privilege level 15. So to log into this thing when you download it, your username password is going to be Cisco. Really easy to remember, right? All right. All right. So this will be the load that you get. Let me go ahead and save this real quick. Hang on. Okay. Now, if I bring up a browser, all right, here's where you will run into a problem, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a version of Java that does not trust HTTPS, you have to go into Java and tell it to trust this network, 10.0.0.0. Okay? The Java admin console. All right, which looks like this. Java control panel. All right? Under the security tab, I throw it all the way to low, and I need to add the 10.0.0 network under this exception site list. You already have it in there somewhere. Go ahead. And it's the site list. This pops up. All I need to do is add. I'll have a little box that comes down here. HTTPS://10.0.0.0. Okay, or 10.0.0.1 in this case, because that's the IP of the ASA. Okay, that may be a problem. But if I go to HTTPS://10.0.0.1, hit enter. I get the web engine on the ASA, as well as confirmation stuff. Okay, you don't have to worry about this up here per se, but what I suggest you do is just come down here and say run ASDM. Your little ASDM Java applet will pop up. Click OK. Comes down here, of course, on this screen where you can't see it. You get this security warning. Click continue. You get another security warning. We have to click the I accept and run. finally, you get the username and password. Now, what did I say the username and password was? Cisco. And it'll launch. Then, this is what it looks like. Okay? You won't get all this stuff over here. You'll get like 10.0.0.1. This is because I have ASDM, all these different firewalls that I manage at work. Okay? So, there's a lot of things you can do from ASDM. Okay? There are wizards that you can do for your initial startup wizard. If you go through the initial startup wizard, you can knock out a lot of Lab 3. Okay? So, here's what I want you to do between now and Thursday. I'm going to take this GNS3 file, I'm going to zip it up, I'm going to throw it onto my FTP site, I'm going to throw an announcement on Blackboard, and I'm going to give you the username and password. It's the same one for 471 for these guys in 471 that you did to get the labs, Lab 2 and Lab 3. I'll throw it on Blackboard. You can go to that site, download it, and be ready to start from roughly here on Thursday when I start going through Lab 3. Okay? Now, for example, when we talked about lecture tonight about setting up VPNs, you saw that you have all those different areas within IPsec to set up, right? Your transform set, your internet key exchange, your essays, right? And we went through in lecture a lot of the command sets that you have to do in setting all those things up. And I saw a lot of you guys' eyes glaze over. Heard somebody say they were lost. That's cool. All right. Now let me show you what this looks like. I have to do one additional step. You will too. I have to set up my outside interface first off. So if I click the configuration area and I go to my interfaces, somebody quickly look on the lab and, oh wow, look, I already got a DHCP address on my, that's funny. Anyway, we'll edit that. Okay. Set the security level here. I'm going to use a static IP address. What was the outside IP address in Lab 3? Anybody who has it up? Of the firewall. You guys are going through this, watching this, and you're not looking at the lab? Shame on you. Come on, somebody pull it up for me. Anybody? Please. .204, slow down, man. Please. 204. .204.184.21.32.
Yes.
That's the IP of the interface.
Oh, the interface. It says 2.8. Which one? That's why I was asking the question first.
Okay.
You said the outside, right?
The outside interface, the one closest to the internet on the ASA.
Sorry, dot 21. I mean, sorry, dot 28. So that's 30.
/30?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be right. Wait, no, it wouldn't be right.
Wait,
It's 34.
That's what? It says dash 30.
Outside interface on the ASA is top 30.
204.184.21.34.
34. Oh, I see.
I'm sorry, .30. 28, so it's .30.
Oh.
On the ASA, yeah. My fault. All right, and you click OK, and then you click Apply. Now, watch this magic, kids. Voila. Pretty cool, huh? God, it's like magic, man. All right. So, but it's still disabled. Wait, no, it is enabled. My bad. All right. So we talked about all those things that we do with the VPN. And I'm sure you are all like going, oh God, do I have to program all this stuff? No. VPN Wizard. I forget what step in, is it like step 10 in the lab? You gotta set up the VPN. Okay. VPN Wizard, IPsec, V1, Remote Access VPN Wizard. Okay. What interface am I going to terminate this on? The outside interface. Enable inbound IPsec sessions to bypass interface access list and group policies. That sounds cool. We'll do that. What am I going to be using? Cisco VPN Client, Release 3X or higher, or other easy VPN remote product? We're not making this a Microsoft VPN, so yes. Pre-shared key. What did I say the pre-shared key was in the lab? It was Cisco, right? Pretty sure it was. Tunnel group name. The tunnel group name. This sets up your transform set. I don't think I put that in there. If I did, you'll have to change this. I'm just going to call this Lab 3. Okay? Oh, real quick before I do this. So look at my show run real quick. All right? 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages. That's it, right? 3 pages. Authenticate using the local user database. Yes, so that means that username and password I created earlier, Cisco, will work. Okay, see I have these 2 users in here, so Cisco will be just fine. Tunnel group, pool name. Now in the lab, I tell you to create a DHCP pool on the firewall, didn't I? You can do that right here, in the wizard. Click new. Name, let's call it Lab 3 Pool. Starting IP address 10.0.0. Say 100, 10.0.0.200. So that mask, drop down box, I can select 24-bit, done. Primary DNS. I don't know if that's right or not. You need to check that. Okay, now this is important. This is where we set up NAT traversal and split tunneling. NAT traversal means that when I connect to the VPN, I'm going to be able to get on the inside of the network without the return traffic getting natted. It's going to skip over that. Remember I talked about all the ACL work that you had to do later on in the lecture? That's what we're doing in the screen. Okay? Split tunneling is going to allow me to tunnel only those networks through the VPN tunnel so that I have access to the rest of the internet from my client. If I don't set up split tunneling, if I VPN into a network, I have access to that network only. Right? I basically break the internet for myself if I don't use split tunneling. Very huge, big concept. If you don't set up split tunneling, you'll lose a couple points. Not major, maybe 2 or 3. Okay, so the interface that I want to communicate with past the VPN is the inside interface. What's the exempted networks? Well, when I click on that little 3 dots there, another window pops up. And I want to select the inside network, the 10.0.0.0 network, and exempt them. This is going to allow my NONAT to work. And then I want to click this split tunneling. If I enable perfect forward secrecy, that's an added layer of security for me, but I've got to do it with a specific Diffie-Hellman group. All right? It doesn't matter what group you choose, but let me tell you this from a standpoint of experience. I always, always, always go with Diffie-Hellman group 2. Okay? It just seems to work better with the Cisco clients. Click next. I get my summary. I click finish. Now see this little box down here? All that has been applied, but I haven't saved it yet. It doesn't mean anything unless I save it. So if I come up here to the save button, I click save. That's a good thing. Finally, show you a little trick here. So I had 3 pages before, right? Don't fail me now. 1 page. 2 page, and here we see that we have an access that's been created for our split tunneling. We see that our DHCP pool has been set up for our VPN. We see that our NAT traversal completed. We see an object group already formed, so we didn't have to create any object groups. That's 2 pages. 3rd page, now looky here. This is where we get into what we were talking about tonight. See all these crypto IPsec dynamic maps, outside maps, all right, and the policies. All right, here's your policy. We showed that tonight. Here's my version 1 policy for authentication, and it's using RSA, and it's using encryption of DES, hash of SHA, Diffie-Hellman group 2. Okay, I have a policy 150. Let's go. Okay, it's 3 pages. This is page 4. So I'm already 1 page over what I was before. Okay. All right. I have a group policy. All right, called Lab 3. This is what you, when you set up your client, this is your group, your tunnel group that you have to connect to. So you got to remember Lab 3. It tells you the DNS servers, the protocol is IPv1, split tunnel policy is tunnel specified, and your network list is Lab 3 _ split tunnel ACL. That sets up that split tunneling and references that ACL that it wrote. 4 pages. 5th page and final page before it ends. Okay, we have our tunnel group up here called Lab 3 with its attributes. Okay, and here's our pre-shared key, that's Cisco. Now let's asterisk, it's asterisk out, so you can't see it if you do a show run. All right, and that's it. So going through that wizard process saved you 2 pages of writing code, roughly. And it knocked out probably 2, if not 3, of the lab questions. So for those of you who weren't paying attention tonight, I'll go over this again on Thursday. All right? Don't forget your laptop. And I'm going to go ahead and set up the remote client, the Cisco client. Okay? On another VM net that's on the outside of the firewall. So basically, I'm going to make one big, huge loop on the inside of my laptop with GNS 3. All right? So we'll finish up VPNs. We're going to talk about remote access VPNs in the lecture on Thursday. We're going to talk about We'll go through this exercise again with the VP and Wizard. I will do that all over again because I'm going to show you how to download the GNS3 lab from my FTP site, put it in GNS3, all right, and then pull it up in GNS3, and then we'll start from here. Okay, that's going to be the second half of class on Thursday after we finish up lecture. Okay? Oh, and by the way, I have Dr. Pike coming in here to evaluate me on Thursday. So if you guys make me look like a fool, I will find out. All right. Have a great rest of your night. For those of you in 471, we're going to go over Lab 3 tonight. After we finish talking about whatever we have to talk about. We went over disaster recovery, business continuity planning. Let's see what kind of foreign stuff we have.